You gave me an ultimatum, and I finally worked. Tomorrow I'll leave Bavican.
All right.
For good. When I was a girl, my mother used to run her fingers over my forehead. She'd say she'd give a lovely linter to know the thoughts playing around in there.
Careful, he's known for betting women left and right.
Well,
I'm mocking him a little bit.
Two that we know of.
I'm mocking him a little bit based off of the memes and in the game. He in the show has not done anything that warrants this, but I mean, technically it's Henry Cavill.
How can you say no to that?
I mean, episode 1, first conquest of the show.
He's showing her the monster in the sheets.
It looks really cool. It looks
He's
amazing.
hoping for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, their lives depend on this. Everyone has a limit, though.
Yeah.
I hope they left. You guys!
Your Majesty, the Nilfgaardians will breach the castle gates.
Have breached. My powers could not hold them any longer, Your Majesty.
Now what? What do we do?
I mean, it doesn't look good.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Lesson number 2. Know when it's time to stop moving.
You're conceding.
Nilfgaard takes no prisoners. In the face of the inevitable, Cyrilla, good leaders should always choose mercy. In the future, you will be wise to do the same. Bring her cloak.
You're going.
You are destined for
I can't
great
do this without
things.
you.
We must go, Your Highness.
She said she was destined for great things.
Find Geralt of Rivia. He is your destiny.
He's gonna show you many things.
I got a bit of chills. We're setting some stuff up. Let's go. He's gonna get way more involved than he ever wanted to be.
I've been protected my whole life, Laszlo. Why?
It's not the time to explain.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's gonna make things difficult. Oh shit.
What is she gonna do now?
She's gonna do something crazy. She won't understand. Probably.
You were in the market, covered in blood. You say you can't choose, but you had to. And you'll never know if you were right. Your reward will be a stoning. And
Put
you
a
will
spell on
run.
him.
You will try to outrun the girl in the woods, but you cannot. She is your destiny.
Referee.
Oh, that was a dream. Kind of a prophetic dream, sort of. Nope, that's the
Hey!
scene. That's the scene.
Where's Renfrey? She's at the tower with your little friend, Varelka.
She gave us a message to pass on to you. You have to choose the lesser evil.
It's an ultimatum. Get it?
You just had to leave, girl.
Fuck.
Come on, show off. Show off. Let's go. Oh! It never gets less epic. You wanted skills. There you go.
A little bit of magic.
Yeah,
there.
a little bit. Because you gotta show skills. I would not stay after this. You're the last guy. I'd be like, okay, bye. We talked about making a choice.
Let the girl go.
I will kill everyone here until Struggle comes down.
Leave Blaviken. It's not too late.
Magic doesn't work on me. Silver does, though.
Silver is for monsters.
She's too far gone. But it's a kick-ass fight scene. This is really cool. Oof. I mean, she can hold her own, and he's just taking the hits. Like, they nick each other here and there. They keep nicking one another. No. Yeah, basically that tells you that you can be a neutral participant. You'll always have to make that choice. Because people won't let you be neutral.
Not take a side.
It works, so keep doing
Looks
that.
like a bench screen.
Yeah, sort of. It's affecting everything. I mean... Keep screaming and run! This is one scream!
Whoa!
Incredible. Marika? Marika! Get me a cart. We'll take her to the tower for an autopsy. If you touch a single hair on her head, yours will be on the ground next. If you go mad, a mutation, it influences people. That's how she got these men to follow her. She got to you too, didn't she? Do not touch her. Witcher, you butchered bodies in the streets of Blaviken. You're a beast!
You endanger the girls.
She said that his reward would be...
You took the law into your own hands. You made a choice.
And you're saying that she gets to people?
What?
Get out of Blaviken, Geralt. Don't ever come back.
That's what he gets for helping. It was fine that he killed them at first because it was helping the sorcerer, but because he's not on the sorcerer's side, then it turns into a bad thing.
And the Lord will be with you always. She is your destiny.
That's true. Let's meet next episode, perhaps? Or later, I don't know. So,
Okay,
this was
so
episode 1.
First of all, great beginning with that fight with the monster.
Strong beginning.
Oh, yeah, strong beginning. Very strong ending too.
Yeah.
With the city of Cintra falling.
Yes. Basically, it sets up Ciri and it sets up Geralt.
Yeah.
It's really easy from that first episode to understand what his reality is like. He's basically out there trying to fight monsters. There's no reward from it. You know, no emotional or you know, social reward from it. Because even if people pay him for this, he's always going to be looked at as one of those monsters too.
Because he's a mutated one.
Because he's different.
Yeah.
Because he's different. And, you know, people are willing to pay him for his services, but they don't want him around. You know, they don't want to be friends with him. They don't want to talk to him. Basically, kind of like with Renfrey, they are creating the monster they fear. Yeah. You know, the hate that they show him, the lack of thanks, the lack of gratitude is turning him into an unsociable and dark and unemotional guy. Because if he's emotional about this, then forget it. He's not going to last very long. you know, I think it's a thing, you know, like they said it themselves, you know, when you become a witcher, you're basically stripping yourself of emotions and stuff, but I think he's feeling it, you know, he's still feeling it. At his core, there's a part of him that's still human, you know.
I cannot say with certainty about it because I've seen some clip of the Wild Hunt. From what I saw, looks like he does feel something, but maybe he's more like detached from it. Can you just explain to us in the comments, guys?
He can feel, you know, he's had women in his life. He can feel love. I know
he
about
can feel
that.
lust.
Yes, but I mean, those are emotions, you know, sort of. So, I mean, he can probably feel it. And at the end of the day, whether or not you're in touch with your emotions or not, you are still being rejected by the very people you're supposed to help. So I get the complete detachment. Like, I forgot his name, but his mentor that he mentioned in the episode. Yes.
Vesemir?
Yeah. I know who they're talking about because I played a bit of the game. But we know when he's saying, we don't get involved. We're not heroes. We kill monsters for coin. It's about survival. They make it into a very practical thing that they're doing. It's a job because if it becomes something else, you get involved and your reward will be this. So it's a very easy, I mean, the episode does a great job at setting up who this character is and what his reality is like. Same with Ciri. We understand her personality. We understand where she comes from, having the pedigree that she... Well, we don't know the whole thing about who she is, but just from the grandmother and who basically taught her and what she heard about her family and where she comes from, we know that she's meant for great things. We know that in her blood is also the blood of that fighter who basically was a badass on the battlefield for years. And still, you know, had a strong connection with her people, understood what it meant to lose and to win, and was capable of facing death, you know, in the eye in her last moment. So she has all of that.
For a grandmother and grandfather, she looks so young.
But it's medieval times.
Yeah, medieval
People
times,
had kids at
maybe a little
13.
bit of magic.
People had kids at like 13, 14.
Yeah, but I think there's some magic behind it, just to make sure.
I mean, she looked 40, 50. In her 50s. So they're not that young, considering they had babies in early 20s and like 14, 15 and stuff like that. And we don't know about her parents, about Ciri's parents. I don't know where they are. I don't know what happened to them. This bit seems different from what I saw in the game or what I heard about in the game.
But I technically read Ciri's storyline.
Yeah, but don't tell me though.
So I know why they're after her, so I'm not gonna say a word about it.
I know she's special. Because in the game, there's something. But like I said, I didn't go far in the game. Like I did a bit of at the beginning. And so I know she's important. And I know she's training eventually to become a Witcher. So that's, hopefully that happens in this season. Or we get started.
I don't know.
Or we get started. But
maybe
there's a
season 2.
strong connection between her and Geralt. And we will see that because, I mean, it's been destined to happen. So we will see that. But yeah, I think this, we set up, you know, their tragic present and, you know, past for you know, the both of them. There is definitely something with Ciri, and she's going to keep that trauma with her now. She knows she has to get to a certain Geralt of Rivia. Destiny, I mean, will maybe have her stumble upon him eventually. He doesn't know who that girl in the woods is supposed to be. She knows his name, so she could look around. Yeah. But him being a Witcher, I don't know how easy that's gonna be to find him.
I don't think there's a lot of Witcher.
No, there's not
around,
much left.
So
that Daddy said.
If
there's
you
not
see
much.
one, you can know where they are.
Yeah, you need to see one. But I'm talking about asking around. People won't probably know, or they won't tell her.
Yeah.
So I don't know how difficult it will be to find one another. Maybe it happens really fast in the show. I don't know. We will see. But in the meantime, this first episode was pretty kick-ass. I felt really bad for the grandmother. I thought, you know, they hyped up her character a lot in that last moment, and I thought it was a good job considering that we barely knew her. We still felt the strength of that last moment she had. Our cat is playing around with a bag. I don't know. So we felt that moment of, I've lost everything, my people is dead, but then it's her duty as, you know, queen of what's the name of the place?
Cintra.
Cintra. Okay, it's her duty as queen of the place to go with her people, basically. She can't just run. She has to face death. Like I said, she looked death in the eye, and she did. She made sure, kind of like the people that were safe in the castle, she made sure to go on her own terms, which is, I mean, all that she could really do. But yeah, she didn't run, which is fine, and she stayed strong till the end, managed to say her last words, and Ciri is now stuck with the trauma. She is literally alone. Like, even the two that... I don't know what the sorcerer did. What's his name?
I forgot his name. So
It's a weird name.
Sorry.
It's a weird name because I kept laughing whenever they said it. But anyway, he was supposed to help them leave, and then he fucking disappeared. I thought he was gonna do something about the rider that came after them, but he just went away.
There were other guys who saw us, so he took care of them, but we left.
Oh,
And that rider saw afterwards.
I mean, I saw him go, and then we saw one rider show up.
Yeah, but
so
another one saw us. So.
Yeah, but I mean, no one else was coming after us. He could have, I don't know, stayed near.
He was busy, okay?
Anyway.
I want to talk about the fight scenes.
Really good.
We, two in particular, the one with the...
Group? The long shot?
The long shot, thank you very much. The one with the long shot, that was... I don't know how much of that was technically accurate to a sword fight.
I think people did research about that. It's not technically accurate, but it looks cool.
It looks very dope, very cool. And the one versus Renfrey, who looks also very cool, very dope.
Sword fights are one of my favorite fights in movies and TV shows. For a TV show to look this good and to be this crazy when it comes to battle, choreographies, fight choreographies and stuff, I think it's really cool. It means that we'll see some great shit in this show. And I always love when sword fighters are quick when they're doing their stunts, because I've seen, we've all seen Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, I remember early season 1, we had a few sword fights, and I remember them in the show saying like, oh, this is the greatest sword fighter, fighter I've ever seen, swordman I ever seen. But then his kills are so boring. Like, he's barely holding on to his sword, and I'm like, this looks bad.
But in this case, since they were moving kind of quickly and with agility, it looks like they knew what they were doing. They practiced a lot.
Yes.
And it seems natural for them. Like,
to be fair,
to me, they look to be
really
skilled fighters.
So. To be fair, in a actual fight, in a realistic fight, those in Game of Thrones that I found boring were probably more realistic than this.
True, but we don't want to see that in a fantasy TV show.
It's a fantasy world. We are allowed to have some crazy shit happen, and this is one of those. And I think it's dynamic, it looks amazing, and it makes them, look skilled, in their craft. So I really, really enjoyed it. They were really good. The choreography was pretty cool too. And the cinematography of the whole episode was great.
I thought they had very interesting focal shots. So that was really nice.
The colors, the set pieces, the shots were good too. I think it's visually stunning, but then I'm not that surprised because nowadays with Netflix TV shows, that's what we get. Shadow and Bones was pretty amazing as well. So I expected the show to look good, and it did. I thought that Henry Cavill as Geralt was doing a good job.
He must be so tired of doing that voice.
I kept thinking, like, poor throat of his.
Yeah.
I know his voice is not that deep.
No.
But it's probably destroying.
But you can say he's trying to really articulate it when he's talking, to really have that tone like when he's speaking. You can see it when he's trying to talk.
Well, he's doing a good job, I feel. He's basically managed to really portray what Geralt is like in the games, and is pretty cool, pretty spot on. I think the personality is great as well. You get to see, even though he says he's a certain way, he's only in there for he told the story to his horse and stuff about how he's disconnected completely. He's understood really quite early that he wasn't a hero and that there was no point in getting involved. and that
Well-
he's doing it for the coin and that's it, and he doesn't want to make a choice. But then we can also see that despite him saying that, there's a part of him that always pushes him towards those choices. You know, he comes back for this. Like, he has a hard time staying away and completely detached.
Which
So-
means he does care.
Yes, but he's hiding that pretty deep. I mean, he's fighting it, but it's in there. And that gives him layers, and I like that. And what else? Oh, I wanted to talk about, I also love that they did this thing about, we're basically in the world where monsters are a thing. And whenever we're watching a show or movie, or we're reading a book about a universe with monsters, we understand that despite the fact that monsters are real, there's another true monster out there, which usually ends up being men.
Yeah.
And in this episode, they said it a few times, how I've encountered my first monster. It turned out to be a man. For him, for her, for a lot of characters, monsters are animals, basically. If you think about it, monsters are not, I mean, not all of them, but some of them are kind of like animals. They hunt to feed. It's their instinct. When it comes to men have, you know, the intelligence, you know, the empathy. They understand what it means to kill,
We can
and they do it.
hunt and kill for the thrill,
Yeah.
pleasure, just because we wanted to.
And I mean, I'm not saying all monsters are based on instinct and similar to animals and stuff, but then again, some monsters are also derived from men. So at least I fought a few in the game that came from men. So it will be
Okay.
interesting to see how this will come in the story. You know, if we keep to it, if the true monster, the true villain of the show stays a man in the end, and if, you know, hunting monsters is part of the story for sure, but if this is going to be basically a lesser problem compared to the rest of the thing. But then if you go against men, you got to get involved. Just saying.
Yep.
Can't just be about killing monsters.
Unfortunately, no. Alright. So that was the first episode of Witcher Season 1.
Yes.
I'm interested, guy. I'm already hooked in.
We were interested before we watched this.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to watch the season,
Well-
for sure.
I kind of like the game, so I want to watch the TV show.
You know, we didn't play much, but we should finish the game.
Yep.
Maybe after this, once we're done with the show.
Okay.
I just never found time to keep going. Or a new game would come out and I was like,
We're
shit.
gonna make time, okay? We're gonna make our own time.
I keep doing this with longer games or, you know, role-playing games. I'll start something and then another game I want to play will come out. I'll stop this one. I'll go to this one. And I don't have time to play anymore. Not as much as I want to.
Yeah.
But
So, if you like this episode, guys, can you finish that up for me, please? I forgot what you said usually.
We are French, if you don't know us. This is what happens when we're tired. So thank you guys so much for watching this with us. If you want to see the next episode right away, it is on Patreon already. You can check it out. The link is in the description below.
And if you don't, the next one will be out on YouTube next week, so stay tuned and see you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.